Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm just hanging out. I'm a little late, couple of minutes late, 3 or 4 minutes late for this talk on the equinox and for the scrying session. Hi. Let me say hi to you as you come in, and I'll look at okay. We're all in another channel. Oh, what do you mean? Hi, hello. What do you mean all in another channel? Um, you mean you were waiting for me on the other mystic scrying medium Christelle? Nah. Hello, Moonchild Moon, Daphne Flores, Beast Master JS, Irina. Yeah, Irina, you wrote to me yesterday and you said, I'm an old subscriber. Yes, I remember, Irina, for sure. Carolyn Rose, good morning, everyone. Good morning. You must be in the down under if you're saying good morning. I'm at midnight here. This is midnight for me. I just woke up. Okay, good for you. Good for you. Well, as you'll see that we'll be talking, okay? And at a certain point, to be able to scry, I'm going to have to shut off the lights because I need to New Zealand. Well, hello, New Zealand. Ciao. Anna. And to be able to scry, then I'll have to shut off the lights, but there'll be a lot of, I'll have my phone light for the crystals as well. So is there anything special that this equinox, I mean, we're here to celebrate, and 11:05 in Scotland, yes, it's 12:05 in Rome. We know that the equinox is the autumn. It's sort of hails in the autumn for the Northern Hemisphere. And for the summer, I found out in my last video, my head was cut off, so I'll just come closer and farther away from the camera. And the Southern Hemisphere goes into spring. So what happens is, and I'm not an astrologer, I know what is happening in this period, but I will not step on anyone's toes. But what happens with the equinox is that there is equal light and equal darkness, which is such a lovely concept, like the yin and yang, and it gives us a sensation of balance more than anything else. And we're really going to need that balance because the full moon in Aries is going to bring a whirlwind of things. And it depends on where the Aries is. It's in 1.5 degrees. It depends on what house it falls for you. In my chart, I'm an Aries sign and rising. So it falls into the first house, and it's all about presentation. It's all about me. And it was odd, that I just came out and wanted to start the live sessions. And so you check your chart to see where that falls, and you'll get an idea of what's going on and for you in this session. It's so difficult for me. The balance of day and night, right? From Fresno, my goodness, I was at Fresno. I stayed in Fresno for about three weeks. With people, went to the wine growers. And do you have any message perhaps of this Aries? I can't go into specifics, but let's take a look at how the scrying will come out. So what I'm going to do is, I have my water here, and that's basically to drink, but I may be able to use that as well. I have my stones here, and let me introduce them to you. This is my citrine. Now that the light is on so you can see it, this is the citrine. This is the apophyllite. The apophyllite I'll show you this way. Yeah, there you go. That's apophyllite. And of course, this is what we all know is that it won't come out of my mouth now. It'll come to me. Somebody write it for me. Then there is this ball that my nephew gave me, and it's a jasper. It's a beautiful stone. It has crystal. It reflects on the surface. It's very, very alive. And of course, I've got the crystal quartz and I'm looking for the feldspar, labradorite. There it is. Now, someone on my channel wrote a comment yesterday about rhodochrosite, and I have this rhodochrosite, which is such a very warm stone. What I'm going to do, if you agree with me, maybe somebody has written that down. Maybe you have written it down. I can't remember what the name is. Let's. I missed, of course. Amethyst. Amethyst. Okay, so now I'm going to shut off the light. And don't worry, but I'm going to need that. Otherwise, I won't be able to scry, okay? So here goes. Get ready. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Let me start by I'd like to start with this. And then there's this bloodstone. I'm going to start with the citrine. Look, I don't have any doubt because what I've been hearing all day, and now I'm getting a confirmation, is that there is, this is a time, and when I say this, it's the full moon, is the 24th or 25th, depending on where you are in the world. And what is going on, what happens here is that we are, as if where we walk, it feels as if the light is following us, okay? Now that means we're on the spotlight. That means that we have a job, we have a responsibility, we have people who are expecting something from us. We have, we're in the limelight. And we can't shirk that. We can't shrug that away. We can't hide away from that, especially in this period of time. When I usually scry, it will go around. The energies will last about a week. So it'll be from the today, which is a Saturday night, till the next Saturday or next Friday night, really the 28th. And what's interesting about it is that, yes, we're in the limelight, but there is a sensation that we are completely different one from the other. There's this word discernment. The other night I was with a client and we were talking about her soul therapy. I was working on soul therapy with her. And one of her life lessons that her soul has chosen was discernment. That means, and I thought, well, let me explain this. Discernment is when you basically think of discernment is, I can understand what this looks like if I look at this. This is darker, this is lighter. I discern the two and I give one a color and one another color. Discernment is what we do when we make a choice between, not a choice, but we define something that is good or bad, something that I like, something that I don't like. And in this, the full moon in Aries, it will call upon us to discern our responsibilities, our characteristics, our strengths from those of others. And it will be a very difficult moon, for those of weak of heart, and those of us who are, say, a bit more shy. Okay, shyer from the rest. But what the moon is going to make us have to do, that's calling upon us to do, is to define yourself more, to come out and make a statement, not to the world, but to you, to ourselves. I'm going to put this aside because this was shouting, and that was, really, really, really shouting. Let's go to a warmer stone like the rhodochrosite. Um, it's true that the emphasis is on ourselves and our individuality. Perhaps, you might even um, decide that that is what I mean, but not necessarily so. It's not only our own definition, it's not only our own independence, it's not only our ourselves alone. This full moon also puts us against a challenge, puts us against a challenge to define ourselves, and while at the same time setting ourselves apart, that discernment, from someone else, but at the same time, again, becoming one. So if you can understand this, think back when your first love, your first love, where you think you could die without seeing that person. You have to be with them 24 hours a day, and everything you do revolves around them. Here, it's not so much a question of melting together and being one, but walking together, discerning ourselves. And it's that discernment, it is that definition which is going to make it possible for us to then go toward each other. It's a beautiful, beautiful sensation, this. It's a whole different take on um, individuality. It's a whole different take on uh, personal responsibility. It's a whole different take on how we conceive the couple as well, and friends and relatives and family. Um, what's also interesting is that there are spaces. There are spaces between ourselves, just like you have a house and the roof has to have a certain lining. I don't know what the technical word would be to heat, to keep the heat in the house. I guess it's called a lining. I don't know what it's called, but siding for the outside and inside. It acts as a wedge, a thickness that will save us from getting cold, save us from ruining the inside. So here too, what I'm seeing is between each other, there is a space, and it's a space. It's made of cotton. It's a cottony space. It's a very warm space. It's a very like clouds. If you can imagine clouds, the clouds are between us, and it's not necessarily the idea of clouds as something cloudy or dark or gray. No, clouds as being soft, the softness whereby there's no rigid distance between each other. We walk in unison, but not like soldiers. We walk in harmony. If you move a little to the left, then I can move too. If I move to the right, then you can too. If we both move apart, we will feel it because the clouds will bring us together. And so there's this sensation of defining ourselves, discerning who we are, and at the same time, going closer to those around us. Um, this is the bloodstone. I'm seeing that I'm hearing it, safety in numbers. It's not the idea of safety in numbers. We will not be looking this week for, we're going to shy away from meetings. If you're in a meeting, if we have to be in a meeting, work will compel us to be in a meeting. We'll be there, but it will be subdued. We're going to be thinking more of our own personal habits, our own personal hobbies, what I'm going to do when I get home. I'd like to go sew that little piece of material, or I'm going to bake today, or let me wash the car. And it's not necessarily anything that you need to tell anyone on the job, or anyone who is out of your personal sphere. But there is this keeping, the your own personal life to yourselves, to ourselves. And it's not it's not by way of wanting to safeguard each other. It's not that. And it's not a matter of wanting to keep people away. No, it's more a sense of going back to a warm place that we call home, redefining our habitat. You may this week want to start painting inside the home, redoing certain things, reupholstering, things like that. Something that will reflect positively on you, on us. Warmth, the idea of warmth inside our home, our abode, what we call our home, where we put our hat, um, is something that's going to take our attention, even if we don't have the time to do all of those things. So there is this sense of keeping something, as if we are not keeping others out. It's not we who are doing it. As we walk, we can actually feel the energy pulling us and pushing us. And it's just a matter of finding harmony. There's an exercise in harmony. There's an exercise in dance. We can call it a dance, where you are dancing close or dancing further away from people. Um, and even though I'm saying people, there is a dance within ourselves. We're dancing closer to ourselves, closer to us. We're designing the contours of what we consider our outer body, and trying to make it clearer for people where the arm finishes, where the fingers finish, and knowing that that's where I am, and where it's gelling, it's coming together, it's having you become whole in one construction, but at the same time, it's a lovely energy of having this flow and ebb and tide feeling with respect to others. So it's sort of a learning process. I'm seeing this as a learning process. Learning once again, well, who am I this week? What are the changes that are coming about because of this full moon in Aries? Is it a matter of redefining my complete self, or is it just a matter of taking baby steps and redefining, I'm not going to have that manicure ever again. I keep my nails long. No, it's time to cut them off. I always rent a car that's black. Well, let's get a red car this week. My favorite store, I don't know. TJ Maxx, my favorite store. I'm not going to go there this week. I'm going to a place where no one has ever seen me go and where I have not gone before. To be able to measure yourself with regard to others, with regard to your natural environment and the environment that you usually inhabit, with respect to the new one. And what's even more interesting here is that I don't see any age differences. I don't see children. I don't see children as children. I don't see men as men or women as women. I see people in this sort of dance, people moving. And there's sort of as if this is a dance or a circus or a playground or a dance floor that is only open to those who have a certain type of mental process that can allow them to be in that space. So what does that mean? It means that there's a challenge for us. There's a challenge of taking up the idea that the moon's energy is giving us into redefining our priorities as well. Our priorities on the basis of who we are, this fingers and arm with respect to someone else. Who are we? What do we do? It's if you're. Let me give you an example. Okay, the Aries, if Aries is in your first house, like in mine, it will be a matter of how you present yourself, how you interact with others, and what there's an expression in Italian, which cheek you show, and it's a matter of really experimenting with the boundaries of your persona. It's interesting because if it's in your first house, it will be that. If it's in your, other house, it will be something else. But the spaces that we inhabit, that I just described, that those clouds in between us are there, whether it's a matter of family, if it's friends, if it's child play, or if it's something else. There is this movement of sort of bouncing off each other and feeling the ebb and the tide, the movement forward and back and sideways. Very, very, very interesting this is. And it's not like we're walking on eggshells. We are not. It's not, we aren't walking on eggshells. We're walking with awareness and consciousness that that our steps mean something. Our steps have a say. They have meaning for where I am going in that moment of time. And what is more interesting than everything I've said so far, at least for me, is that when all is said and done, the moon is past 24, 25, then 1, 2, 3, 4 days, up into the 3 or 4 days on after the full moon, you have the impression that you are given the opportunity to turn around and to see the movie again, to see what you did, how you moved, who you're moving with, what exactly you did, and what were your priorities. What was that discernment process? What did you see? How did you feel right then when you were moving closer and moving away? And you have the opportunity 3 or 4 days down the line to be able to re-see that, re-experience that, and practically study that for further use, for understanding, for learning. And this is such a great stone to scribe. It's a great stone. There are large gatherings. In the moments I talked about meetings, if you're on, if you have to have, of course, for work, you're in a meeting and however, you're there, but your interests are painting in the living room or sewing a dress or cooking something, whatever, baking, without having others be party or privy to what you're thinking. But there are large gatherings. We will be coming across large gatherings. And if some of us do not come across these large gatherings, you will be viewing them as if on television, and it may well be in television. You'll be viewing a large get together, a person who is speaking to a large group of people. And they're talking about a theme that was prepared in advance. and as if it were a party. Those of us who will be in gatherings will be at a place that we know, or beforehand we know more or less. There's a schedule. We know what will be going on. There'll be a band, for example. There'll be some jazz. There'll be snacks. There'll be drinks. There'll be finger food. There'll be some dancing. We know that what could possibly happen. But we're there and we are part of the scenery. The same thing happens on a smaller scale in the office. You are there, you interact barely, as much as possible, so it doesn't look odd, but you're still cruising, and actually see us cruising on your own time, on your own theme, as if you're listening to your own music. And this is a moment. The entire week is a moment to bring in the, what do you call when you row a boat, bring in those oars, bring in the oars, and find your balance, and just reorient your route, your path, as if this week is going to give us the unique opportunity to change course ever so slightly, even just a little, even just to take another decision. Excuse me. This could even be a larger, a more important decision. It could be a complete change of jobs. I'm quitting. Poof, goodbye. I'm going to change careers. I no longer want to do this. I'm going to change residences. I'm leaving my family. It could be a number of changes that take root. The seed takes root this week. It's as if we come to the awareness that yes, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I don't have a dime in the bank. I don't know where I'm going to eat tonight. I don't have any food. But I know deep in your heart and your mind, you know that if you put your mind to it, you will be able to do just about anything. Now, this is, them's big words, they're, big changes in words, and at the moment when they are words coming out of my mouth, nothing is fearful, But when you're in the thick of things, when you're there this week, you will feel a dizziness when the realization comes to you that, yes, I am the master of my life. 2 days ago, a subscriber, or not a subscriber, welcome to everybody who doesn't know me and is here for the first time. Someone wrote under my video, I'd like to talk about fate and destiny. How much are things planned already, and how much leeway do we have? How much does it depend? Does our life path depend on us? And what I just said from the scrying here, the session, gives us a pretty fair amount of insight into what happens. I'm sure that you've seen, one movie comes to mind, Sliding Doors, where when the doors slide one way, something happens. But if there's another turn of events, something else happens. And it all depends on what choices you make. And clearly, I always say, if you are bored one day, you go out on the street, take a gun, shoot someone, you can be sure your life is going to change. Absolutely. And that's drastic. But if even something less drastic, instead of going to the supermarket, you go to a farmer's market and you get your food. That changes what you eat. It changes how you think. It changes the aroma. It changes the seasoning of what you put in. And no one can deny that life is a series of choices. But this is a really big topic that we can pick up at another, time, and perhaps you can give me input, and we can then orient our discussion. But what I want to dispel any fear of the idea of changing completely. It's the feeling at one point during the week, and it will be around those 2 or 3 days after the full moon, when there's a dizziness. There's this dizzy feeling where you can almost feel like you're raising off the ground. Your feet are flying because you know that you can go very, very high. You can fly. And it is a dizzying feeling. And when you feel very light that you can do it, all of a sudden the fear sets in, and we are just boom, boom, go right to the ground. So I'm going to stop the scrying with that notion that you can fly, and what can bring you down is the fear this week. So we can keep our eyes open for that. I'm going to turn the lights on again. Okay, now I hope that was of help to you in some way. I wanted to read the people. Don't forget to hit the like button, please, beautiful. That's nice, just learning. Thank you so much for speaking out for me. Looking forward to the clarity. Oh, you telling me. I wouldn't have. Toronto, never been to Toronto. I've been to Montreal. Montreal was my stopping ground. I used to live in New York City. And on the weekends, Friday, I used to take a night train and get to Montreal until Monday morning. I had to be back to work. Aries sun, hi. So happy. I guess so happy to catch you live. Great. Let's see. Anything else? Okay. I'm going to let it at that. And what can I say? Thank you all so much for coming and being here with me and making it possible for me to talk to you. And what I wanted to say is that I said it yesterday. I'm going to probably stop posting videos on the other YouTube channel that I have, because it was just too much dispersive energy. I'm going to keep everything in Christelle Martinet. So slowly but surely I'll remove the videos there. And what you'll be seeing as the following days come up, because yesterday I looked at the video and I really, really liked the quality, which was HD. And it just makes a difference from the videos that I record and post. So I was thinking this week, I'm going to, without announcing them like I did these 2 videos, I'm going to put up the monthlies, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so forth, without announcing the live sessions. So whenever I can, they'll say maybe 3 a day, 2 a day, and during the week I'll get them all up. Okay, so you'll be seeing that. And if you don't see your sign right away, just wait. It'll be coming up. What else can I say? I have a new sewing machine. I don't think you care. This new sewing machine I sewed all afternoon. Okay, that's enough. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure. Until we read and scry together again. Bye-bye.